So in Objective 3, we're going to be able to solve a matrix equation. It's going to be a simple matrix equation. Excuse me. And throughout the rest of this unit, we're going to be finding some more ways to solve matrix equations. So the image here from the matrix, where Neo is presented with a problem. He's supposed to choose the red pill or the blue pill. He's got to solve that problem. Like one of them keeps him in the matrix, and the other one he finds out what the matrix is. Okay, so solve the matrix equation for x and y. And if you take a look at this equation here, you can see that I have some missing entries. Like, for example, here's where the 2x is. Well, in order to find out what the 2x is, like what that element is, all we have to do is just make an equation from the corresponding elements. So I would have 2 times the 2x plus negative 1, and those entries are going to correspond to the answer of 10. So I'm going to write that as an equation. I'm going to write 2 times, and this has to be in parentheses because it's in parentheses in the original equation, 2x minus 1, and then all of this should be equal to 10 on the other side. Okay, so let's just divide this thing by 2 here. Make it a little simpler. You could distribute by 2, but you know what's the point. So 2x minus 1 equals 5. Add the 1 over, 2x equals 6, which makes x equal to 3. That's it. That's about as hard as this gets. Let's change colors here and do the y. So for the y, same exact process. Just match up our elements. So it's going to be the 2 times the negative y plus a 5, and match up the element. It's going to match up with the 14. So write our equation here. I have 2 times negative y plus 5 should be equal to 14. Right? So again, let's divide this thing by 2. Negative y plus 5 equals 7. Subtract the 5 over. So negative y equals 2. And then just get the negative on the other side. It's negative 2. There we go. There's our answer. Okay. So all you have to do when solving a matrix equation of this type is just use the corresponding elements to set yourself up an equation. So for example, on this one, the 2 red ones, they correspond. So you have the simple equation 15x plus 9 is equal to negative 21. Solve that for x. The 2 blue entries have to be the same. So negative 12 minus 3y should be equal to negative 24. And solve that one for y. Okay? So why don't you give it a try here on exercise 9. Solve that matrix equation for x and y by just making an equation, corresponding elements. Alright, I hope that you didn't find that too terribly challenging. Here we go, solving or setting up an equation with x's. I get a negative 2 corresponding elements times negative 3 plus the 9. All this should be equal to 12. Solve it, we get 5. For the second equation for y, negative 2 times parentheses y plus the 3 should give me negative 18. Solve it, I get 6. Okay, so just one last example. And on this one, we're trying to find a matrix, not just one element, but an entire matrix. So on this equation, it would be more helpful if we just use some generic letters for this matrix, call it A. This matrix over here, call it B. And now my equation becomes a simple 1/2 x minus a equals b. And let's solve this for x to see what I'm supposed to do with a and b in order to find the answer. So of course I need to add the a over. So 1/2 x equals b plus a. And then I'm supposed to multiply by 2 so I can get rid of the 1/2. So I have x, what I'm looking for, should be 2 times b plus a. So let's go ahead and add our 2 matrices together and then double the result. So x should be equal to 2 times, add these entries together, 7 and 8 is 15, 6 and 3 is 9, negative 5 and 0, 0 and 2. Okay, so now just double it, which makes x equal to 30, 18, -10 and 4. So there's my final answer. So I did it that way with the little letters in the place of the matrices, just because then I wouldn't have to worry about writing all those numbers down each step of the way. I can just see what I'm supposed to do in terms of the A and the B to get my final answer. Right, so that concludes the lesson on basic matrix operations, defining matrices and all its key parts, like how do you name it with its rows and its columns, thinking about a delicious RC Cola. We did a matrix addition and subtraction and this simple thing called scalar multiplication, and then put the things together, solving simple matrix equations. And so finally, there we go. There is your assignment. See you in class.